This is Genevieve. She is 11 years old. When she was 5 years old and she started school, we started to notice some really erratic behaviors coming from her. She was having a really difficult time with transitions and she became a flight risk, and it really did kind of appear to happen overnight. She was always stubborn and independent, but once she hit school, it was just kind of like whether it was an environmental factor, whatever it was, it's just something changed in her, and those behaviors went from stubborn and independent to really angry and very scared and anxious and very dysregulated with her moods all the time. And we really struggled to help her find a balance. We worked well with the school system and got supports in place for her, and started working with different mental health programs here in Pictou County to try to get her some help, try to help us as well as a family, try to figure out how to navigate this, try to figure out what's going on, because you're trying to do all the right things and trying to help ease with the transitions and do the little lifestyle changes to help with these big changes in a little 5-year-old life. And things just weren't going well. And that cycle just kept continuing every year. She was getting more angry and more upset, and ADHD symptoms were definitely happening, but we couldn't get her to sit still for an assessment. It was not an easy road. And when she was eight,
8 or 7.
seven or eight, she began to get a lot more violent and aggressive with these. What was once temper tantrums became week-long manic episodes. And I started recognizing that something more is happening here. And I started pushing to get more help. We got in with a wonderful psychiatrist here who started looking at her differently than we were getting from other resources, who were just telling us that this could purely be behavioral. We just have to keep doing all the right things. And he was willing to look at it from the same perspective that we were looking at it at home. It's that there's something more happening here. So that's when we started introducing some medications to try to help with the behaviors. Um, we didn't have a lot of luck with medications. It seemed like we'd end up having more aggression come from her. She became incredibly violent when we tried different medications for ADHD. So we put the brakes on with that. We just watched what was happening with her. But the cycle just continued, and we were just continuing to watch her get worse and more violent and more aggressive and more destructive. Um, when she was 9, 8, almost 9, we were able to get her into an intensive services program here locally at the Children's Hospital in Halifax. It was a 12-week program where she was living there essentially for almost the entire week, and she'd be home with us on the weekends. And they worked with her and 7 or 8 other kids her age, doing very intensive therapies, trying to help them navigate and manage their own neurodivergences. And she spent a few times in the secure room there where she chewed the rubber off of the walls and had to be put in secure holds regularly, which of course we had been practicing at home as well, because that's the world we were living in, and trying to keep her safe when she was not safe to herself or others. When she came out of that program, we were no further ahead. And our psychiatrist said, um, at that point in time, sorry, he was committed to the fact that this is a bipolar disorder we're dealing with here. This is not just mood swings. This is not just ADHD. This is not just anxiety. We have something more serious happening, and we started to treat it as such and start researching some more and try to find ways to help her. But ultimately, it wasn't working for her. And in April of last year, we kind of went on a medication break, and we took a 6-month break with our psychiatrist. Is what the plan was, is that we were just going to kind of give her body a rest. She was getting increasingly violent, and the medication changes weren't working, and we had no other options for what we could do medication wise. So we agreed to kind of take a break on the medical psychiatry front, but I didn't take a break from reading and learning and searching and looking for help for her. And it was at that point in time that, not long after we decided to take this break, she started hallucinating during her manic episodes. And that was very scary. Very scary.
I thought a leaf on the toilet was a bug trying to suck my blood.
She had some rough goes.
I broke one of my doors and during a manic episode. We had to get a new one.
It's not fun to think about those things anymore, is it?
No, it's not.
No, it's not fun to reminisce on those things.
No.
You've come so far, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between that period between April and August was when we had been introduced to the concept of let's just get off of the entire food supply altogether. Let's go straight to Whole Foods. And we did that. And we actually seen some changes in her. She had to come off of her afternoon medication. So I thought, oh, this is wonderful. This is great. And she was starting to feel a little bit better, but at the same time, she wasn't feeling a whole lot better. So we kept researching and kept looking. And a month later, we found Dr. Palmer's brain energy and we implemented that ketogenic diet, which was very easy to do when we're already eating the whole foods. We just increased her fat and decreased her carbohydrates.
Well, I had a hard time adjusting to it, and I was secretly eating Cheerios at my school. But one day, my parents found out, and then I just stopped eating those things completely.
Yeah, we had a nice long chat about it actually because she knows what's in those.
But they're so good, I can't handle it.
Exactly. And she was having much higher ketones on the weekends while this was happening. And then during the week, her ketones were lower and she was very irritable when she'd get home from school and she'd be fantastic on the weekend. But we couldn't quite pinpoint what it was that was going on. It wasn't
Until an EA at my school messaged my mom.
Yeah, because they knew something was going on. So we had some great supports in place there in that aspect. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like it was a long, lengthy adjustment period because the changes were happening for her so fast and she and our whole family, we were all recognizing the changes so quickly that she was able to see what was happening to her body very shortly after eating those foods. So she was like, "Oh, that's why I feel that way." And it made it a lot easier for her to be like, I don't want it anymore. So 3 days after we switched to the ketogenic diet, she detoxed for a couple of days. Her behaviors were not uncontrollable and not unmanageable. It was a window of that Genevieve we're very used to seeing. And after 3 days, she literally woke up a whole different human. She felt different. And from that point on, she hasn't had a manic episode or hallucination since.
Once in a while, my eyes play tricks on me, but that's only when I'm tired.
It's a whole different ball game now. She's calm, she's relaxed, she's not irritated over everything in her way. It's just she's got a whole different way of carrying herself now. She's learning differently. School's a whole different situation. She's not in the learning center anymore. She's in the classroom full time.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but most of the time I feel amazing about it. It's kinda like I feel like I was normal for once. Like in a long time.
Love you, babes.
Hey.
That's an important one. To see where she was and where she is now and how quickly it happened. Like, I have a whole different child. Like we're getting to experience things as a family now that we never could before. Like this past weekend, we could have gone and done things. Sure, absolutely, because we can now. But to be able to actually just be in our own home together, the four of us, and have a calm environment and just enjoy each other's company and hang out together and make food together. And my son will play the guitar and like she brings her karaoke machine out and we just get to spend time together to be able to actually do that. Like this is the first time we've been able to do that in her entire life. Like, sorry, sweet pea, I poked you in the arm. But like when she was born, she was colicky. And it's like it never stopped. It was just like she was a going concern. I love her to pieces, but she was a going concern. And now she's a whole different human being. And it's incredible to watch her. Like every day is like it's like a whole new experience. It's just mind blowing. Like the things she comes up with and the things she talks about and just the way she carries herself. Everything is different. And we're getting to know Genevieve, and I think Genevieve's getting to know Genevieve because we haven't up until now.